Hello YouTubers and welcome to another review. Today I got a monster for you, and this is the Audiolab 8300 XP. I don't know what XP means, but I'm guessing it's extra power. So there's the Audiolab 8300A, and the 8300 is like a series. Then you got the 8300 XP. Then you got the 8300 MB, which is mono blocks, which is like big things like this, but like mono blocks. And how did I come to have this? This is a massive thing. I mean, I never had an amplifier this size. And this is a pure amplifier, so there's no preamps, there's no anything here. As you can see, the front is nice and clean, no knobs to adjust anything. It's just signal in, amp out, you know, like it's a pure amplifier. The 8300A is a preamp, so you could use the 8300A together with this. Well, could you? Because the 8300A doesn't have digital inputs, so you'd probably be better off using a CD thing. I'm not really sure how you would pair this with the 8300 kind of like lineup, but that's not a problem that I have, because I got the Aoun S17 as a preamp, and I can connect it to the 8300 XP. So it's quite large, and it's deeper, you know, like than standard Audiolab amplifier anyway. And it's super heavy. I think this thing is about 16 kilos or 18 kilos or something like that. Got a massive power supply here, and then it's got two circuits, and I don't know if this is a dual mono like the 8300A. The information online is not very forthcoming with you know, whether it's a dual mono or not. Looking at the layout, it's like a mirror. So if you look at the images there, the one side mirrors exactly the other side. So and that's in theory really good, because the signal path is identical on both channels. So you look at this inside, it's really cool. Apparently they use a lot of copper on here, so this retails a little bit more expensive than the 8300A, which is an integrated amp, so you don't get any of those features. So what I thought is that in return you get all that money goes into the audio components. So they use a lot of copper in here, and this has got a lot more power. I think the 8300A's got 75 watts. This has got 140 watts for 8 ohms. So 8 ohms or 4 ohms, you look at the spec, I can't really remember. So the way that this ended up with this was that I was looking for an amplifier, and I tried the 6000A, but I felt the 6000A not only had a lot of features I didn't need, like optical ins and so on and so forth, because I'm using this for like near field, so just for my desk. Call me crazy if I have an amplifier like this size for my desk, but the sound is just unbelievable. I would have returned it happily if it wasn't for the sound. So I was using the 6000A, and then I said, okay, let me make the jump to the 8300A, right? And I was immediately like sold on the not only all the Audiolab signature, which the 6000A has, but just how beautiful the sound of the 8300A sounded. It sounded absolutely fantastic, you know, I absolutely fell in love with it. I also like the sound on the 6000A, and I don't think you can go wrong with that, but the 8300A is just a class above that. So when I found this discounted at the same price as the 8300A, and considering I don't need any of the preamp features that the 8300A brings to the table, I thought, why not? It's crazy, I know it's crazy, you know, this is not a desktop amplifier, but I wanted to try it, and if it didn't work, I could always return it. And to be fair, I am keeping this one over the 8300A, because the 8300 XP, what it gives you is 8300A sound, but tighter and more with more authority, more. It can move those drivers more effortlessly, and you can feel that, you know, not only when you put the volume up, but just at low volumes as well. You know, it's just when music gets really complicated, it just controls it's just in control, right? And the bass, I mean, I could never thought, you know, like I've had these speakers, the Monitor Audio RX ones. They're like smaller speakers, 6-inch. I never thought that my speakers would deliver such good sound, you know. So the amplifier is so important, and having this extra power, it's really noticeable, even at low volumes. And of course, if you pump the volume up, you will notice that the amplifier is just controlling the speaker. You know, you see the diaphragm literally moving, and there's no distortion. So this is something you get from a big, hefty amplifier. During my journey, I've tried to get like desktop solutions, like the 4Z Audio ZA3. I even tried the Mono V3s. I've tried the topping. Actually, I'm trying the topping LA 90D. You know, because all of these are like much more desktop friendly, I suppose. But when you remove it takes less space out of the equation, and you focus only on the sound, there's no denying that a big amp like this, everything else being equal, is going to sound better. I get sound from here that I cannot get from all those smaller amps. It's just, you know, it's just in my experience, that's what's happening. I'll show you around the back here. This is really heavy. Let me see if I can turn this. So looking at the back here, you'll see it's pretty simple. It's just an amp, so there's no integrated circuit here. So you got your output for the speakers on both ends, and remember, this is an exact mirror on both sides. You look at the pictures, it looks pretty neat. That's one of the things that I wanted to buy this for. Because you look at the amplifiers online and you see the when they take the cover off, and you can see how they've been laid out, and the Audiolabs in general looks so neat and proper thought of, you know, and some of the other amplifiers, they've got like wires and things sticking out and whatever. It's almost like a second thought. But this looks like, this is just beautiful inside, and that to me, it feels like someone cared, you know. They didn't just do things randomly. So really beautiful inside this stuff. So you got your XLR inputs, you got your RCA inputs, then you got the selector here for RCA or XLR, and then on this side you got bridge or stereo, because you can use this bridged with another one, and that will give you a ton of power, 480 watts or something. You got your 12-volt trigger here, your switch, mains switch, and that's it. There's nothing else to this, right? So no preamps, no inputs, no whatever, just no auxiliary inputs, no any of that stuff. Just that's it. You get your signal in, XLR, RCA, and then you got your speaker out, and that's it. No volume knobs, no anything like that. And how does it sound? Well, it sounds absolutely stunning. You know, I get lost in the music with this in a way that I haven't experienced with anything else before. I'm actually not using headphones a lot anymore. My beloved Sennheiser 660 S2s, and with the Aoun headphone S17 headphone amp, which now is my preamp, because I'm not using headphones a lot, because the sound I'm getting near field with this amp, the Aoun S17 as a preamp, the Chord Mojo 2 as the DAC, and the Monitor Audio Silver RX1 speakers, I'm just like, I'm in heaven, you know. I'm getting the level of detail and the level, and of course, you know, like when you listen to speakers, you get like a lot more spaciousness, generally speaking, and that mixed with the Audiolab kind of a very open and engaging soundstage is just unbelievable. You know, I'm having more fun listening to music on speakers for the first time ever than I am listening to music on headphones. You know, the bass is tight, the mid-range is solid, secure, open, distortion free. The high is beautiful, the little details, and you just get submerged in music in a very, very, very beautiful way. And this is an absolutely amazing amp for the price. You know, it costs, I mean, in audiophile worlds, it doesn't cost that much. I mean, I don't know how an amp costing 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 would sound, but I am absolutely enjoying listening to music on here. It beats headphones, for God's sake. It's just crazy. I will show you the 8300A here. So I got the 8300A here. So that's and now I've lined it up at the back. I don't know if you can see from the side. You see how this one is a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger. So these two share the same kind of a sound signature, right? So you can definitely feel the DNA is there. You know, like the sound stage, as I say, is marvelous. The mid range is just, they nail it completely, because like with the topping LA90D, the sound is really detailed, the sound is really revealing, but there's no, how can I say it? It's like the difference between eating a good dark chocolate and a normal dark chocolate. You know, like a normal dark chocolate is amazing and it's really good, and you can have the whole bar, no problems. But you know when you have a really nice chocolate, because it's just almost indescribable, how smooth and buttery it is. And this is exactly what happens with the sound, you know. So Audiolab has a way of making sound feel smooth and beautiful without any loss of detail. It's incredible, you know. It's absolutely incredible. So what do you get from jumping from an 8300A to an 8300 XP? Well, you lose the screen, you lose the preamp features, you lose all of that stuff. But what you gain is a lot more authority over the sound. Just a lot more authority, and it's a much more powerful amp, so it will drive your speakers more effortlessly. And I can't emphasize enough how that is important. So where, you know, some bass passages, because that's where the amp is most, the differences in control are more evident, whereas the bass on the 8300 is absolutely gorgeous. When you listen to the XP, the 8300 XP, that same bass is more textured, it's more, the transients, I think they call it, are a lot more controlled, right? So notes end when they need to end, they start when they need to start, and that happens effortlessly, you know, and regardless of whether the passage in the music is actually a lot complicated or not. With the lesser amp, what you get, especially when the music gets cluttered or with a lot of instruments, is that you lose that separation, you lose like that definition. So for example, the topping the topping LA90D is an absolute master of creating that separation between instruments. So when you're listening to the Audiolab, either one of these, you're not only getting that separation, you're getting refinement and smoothness, which is something that the topping doesn't necessarily give you. And I'm not really saying that the topping is a bad amplifier. I think it's an outstanding amplifier. But the level of maturity that you get from either one of these is just, I'm sold, you know, like I'm really happy with it. I think, you know, went on a journey to find some amps and stuff. and I think I'm just going to settle with the XP here, and now I need to find out whether I'm going to keep it on top of the desk or put it at the bottom, because obviously it's so huge. But I'm a sound lover, and this might be it, you know, yeah, I'm, is this my end game? Who knows, you know, maybe the bug will bite me, and then in the future I will try some other amplifier and stuff. I mean, I started spending like 100, 200, now I'm on that 1000 bracket. But I think, you know, you're starting to enter the realms of like really diminishing returns, and I think at this stage is not so much more like whether the equipment is good, is whether it connects good, right? Whether all the components you have kind of deliver the sound that you want. For example, the topping is practically the same price as either of these, and in some senses actually superior, but I much prefer the sound coming out of this. It sounds more mature, sounds more pleasurable, sounds more open, and the topping can be a little bit like narrower, but the sound stage on here, like the effect left to right and how distant the sounds are, and there's the little things is so brilliant with the Audiolabs. I'm really sold, guys. So if you're out in the market for a good amplifier, and you value like mature sound, absolutely silky smooth mids, lots of detail, and kind of just heft and soundstage, well, we should try the Audiolabs, either the 8300A or the 8300 XP, or if you can, even the mono blocks. I mean, that'd be the next step, to get the mono blocks, although, you know, it might this is already ridiculous for a desktop setup. So if I had two, well, I mean, they're not so wide like this, but you know, if I had two mono blocks to drive my speakers, that'd be crazy, right? And so I think, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't think about it. But yeah, guys, you know, like Audiolab is really making me happy right now. So we'll see if that changes. We'll see if there's anyone else producing sound quite like this. But this is definitely the best sound I've heard ever, either from this one or this one. Although, as I say, if you do go for the XP version, you get more authority and just more effortlessness, and effortlessness is really good, especially when the music gets tricky. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching. This was my opinion / review of the Audiolab 8300 XP, with a few comments about the 8300A and other items here. I hope that you found this useful, and I see you around.